Jai Hari. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada धर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। Yantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Tatho Jayamudiraye
Tato Jayamudiraye.
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavatyuttama Shloke
Bhagavate Uttama Shloke.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki.
We are reading from Canto 5, Chapter 4, The Characteristics of Rishabdev, Text 17. So I'll read the prose. Dravya Desha Kala Vayah Shraddhartvik Vividod Deshopachittaihi Sarvair api Kratubhir Yathopadesham Shatakritva Ijaya Yajya Dravya, okay, what word meaning? Dravya, the ingredients for performing yajna. Desha, the particular place. A holy place or temple. Kala, the suitable time, such as springtime. Vayaha, the age, especially youth. Shraddha, faith and goodness. Not in passion and ignorance. Ritvik, the priests. Vividha Uddhesha, worshipping different demigods for different purposes. Upachittaihi, enriched by. Sarvaihi, all kinds of. Api, certainly. Kratubihi, by sacrificial ceremonies. Yatha Upadesham, according to the instruction. Shatkritvaha, 100 times. Yaja, he worshipped. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Lord Rishabdev performed all kinds of sacrifices 100 times according to the instructions of the Vedic literatures. Thus he satisfied Lord Vishnu in every respect. All the rituals were enriched by first-class ingredients. They were executed in holy places according to the proper time by priests who were all young and faithful. In this way Lord Vishnu was worshipped and the prasad was offered to all the demigods. Thus the functions and the festivals were all successful. Purport. It is said, Kaumara acharet pragnyo dharman bhagavatan iha. A ritual should be performed by young men, even boys, at a tender age in order for the ritual to be performed successfully. From childhood, people should be trained in Vedic culture, especially in devotional service. In this way, one can perfect one's life. A Vaishnav does not disrespect the demigods, but on the other hand, he is not so foolish that he accepts each and every demigod as the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is master of all demigods, therefore the demigods are his servants. The Vaishnava accepts them as servants of the Supreme Lord and he worships them directly. In the Brahma Samhita, the important demigods, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and even the incarnations and expansions of Lord Krishna, like Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, and all the other Vishnu Tattvas, as well as the Shakti Tattvas, like Durga Devi, are all worshipped by the process of worshipping Govinda with the words Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. A Vaishnava worships the demigods in relation to Govinda, not independently. Vaishnavas are not so foolish that they consider the demigods independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Ekala Ishvara Krishna Arasabha Bhratya. The Supreme Master is Krishna and all others are his servants. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuronmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guraho Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratushe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langhete girim yat kripatam vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So here we're discussing the characteristics of Rishabdev Maharaj. So Rishabdev is here very nicely ruling the kingdom, and he is acting as a proper Kshatriya under the guidance of the Brahmanas. And now in this particular shloka what we're seeing is he is doing yagyas for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu. So here we have nice purport which Prabhupada is starting the first few lines, where he's saying that a ritual should be performed by young men, even boys at a tender age, in order for the ritual to be performed successfully. So I was just wondering, why, what is the significance of these statements? So recently we had gone to ISKCON Ahmedabad. So there, Gurukul boys had come from Bihar, our ISKCON Gurukul boys. It was very nice, small, first standard, second standard. Early morning they'll get up and come running. And then with that yellow dhoti, small kurta, yellow. And with small shikhas, running around in the entire temple, doing nice kirtan, japa. So, got to speak to few boys while having breakfast, prasadam. So I was asking them, how often do you speak to your parents? And the boy was like, sometime on Sunday, or else I anyways don't speak. I'm like, okay, why? Zarurat to padta nahi hai. And then I asked him, so what is your goal? I'll become a brahmachari. And then I was like, okay, why do you want to become a brahmachari? I want to serve this mission. I was like, amazing. Then I tried testing other boys also. So they were also the same, this one. I'll become a brahmachari. And one boy gave some complicated analysis of his own. He says, Mataji, Prabhuji, something was telling which I couldn't understand. But one thing is that these kids, when right from childhood, when they're cultivated like this in Krishna consciousness, they'll be having nice samskaras right from start. At least in this life, whatever is there from past life, that's okay. At least in this life, the new samskaras which are there, that will be proper. It will not be the contaminating samskaras that unfortunately what we so-called educated people got, B.Tech, M.Tech or whatever. And when these kids, when they perform, even in our Mayapur Gurukul, we see they chant so wonderfully the Vedic hymns. So when these kids, when they perform these different rituals, with nice mood, and with their innocence, at that age, whatever innocence is there, that makes it pretty pure, the entire thing to be pure. And here Prabhupada is saying that the ritual becomes successful. It's a very important thing right from childhood. This samskar should be given that our life is meant for serving the Lord. I was very happy to talk to those small kids and learned a good number of lessons from them. That life's goal is to serve Krishna, and this parents have to teach right from childhood. Unfortunately, the life's goal is to become the slave in corporate. That's what the parents are teaching nowadays. And earn more money and get married, beget kids, and they should study, and then they should get married, they should beget kids. So, okay, all that is okay. That's the way of life that is there in this world. But the important thing is in that entire course of life, if this very nice samskar is given, a strong impression is given about Krishna consciousness, that the goal of life is to serve Krishna, and every activity that we're doing is for the service of Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna. If these small kids get as an impression, that will make a lot of difference. And I feel very fortunate in our community, we have so many wonderful Grihastha devotees training the kids very nicely. I remember Amrendra Prabhu was sharing with me, his younger brother. Since in his house the samskar was there, whatever is put in the mouth should be prasad. So even when someone gives biscuit, he'll go to the Lord, offer it, and then he'll go and take. So it is very nice. At least that's there in the consciousness. That what I have to take is only prasad. What I have to do is devotional service, etc., etc., etc. So in this way, small kids, here Prabhupada is saying that from childhood, people should be trained in Vedic culture, especially in devotional service. In this way, one can perfect one's life. So right from childhood, one should be trained. And when the kids are trained nicely, they will have a lot of inclination towards Krishna consciousness. If they have good amount of sukriti, that's a condition again. And obviously, with the more and more devotional practices at home and in the temple, they will get more sukriti, and they'll be able to advance also nicely in Krishna consciousness. And small kids are always the recipients of lot of mercy of senior devotees. We see, Burijan Prabhu, how much he is so much mercy is flowing for all the kids. So that's very natural. That's very natural. I've seen many other sannyasis also. They like to bless the kids, ask their names, what are you doing, etc., etc. So like this, at least in our community of ISKCON, we understand that the small kids get a lot of mercy in various ways. The next part of the purport talks about a Vaishnava's behavior towards demigods. So when I was reading this, next half of the purport, so I could feel that there's a summary of the second offense description that is given in Harinam Chintamani. So I would like to read, this different verses from Harinam Chintamani, and let's try to analyze. We as sadhakas, what are we supposed to do, or what should be our behavior towards the Devi Devtas? So the second offense is to consider the names of Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the names of Lord Vishnu. In Sanskrit that is called as Devantare Swatantrya Jnana Aparadha. So few verses only we'll take. I have just marked few. So I'll read the translation. So why is it that this is an offense? Let's try to understand. Why is it that when we equate the Devi Devtas to the Lord, or we treat them independent of the Lord, so why is it an offense? So one is like we tell that Krishna is not supreme. And another way of telling the same thing is everyone is supreme. It makes the same. It is the same thing. Therefore, as devotees, as sadhakas, it's not about sentiment. Okay, we have been told, so we're supposed to accept. No. We have to understand technically why is Krishna supreme, from different angles. That's what we see in Srila Prabhupada's lectures. From different angles, he'll prove how Krishna is supreme. So here in Harinan Chintamani, we have the qualities which are given. Through the qualities, it is proved how Krishna is supreme. Lord Krishna, who enjoys pastimes in Goloka, is the best of all truths. He is the reservoir of all rasas. He is decorated with 64 auspicious qualities. Lord Vishnu's Vibhin Amshas, separated potencies, are of two kinds. One of these two kinds, the individual souls, possess 50 of these qualities in quantities like a drop of a drop. So I'm sure all of us know this. So Lord has 64 qualities, and when it comes to we as jivas, we have got 50 qualities, and it's not in full. Here very nicely it is given. The quantity is like drop of a drop. Very clear. Our acharyas are genius when they're putting in words. The demigods headed by Lord Shiva always possess these 50 qualities in greater quantity. In addition, 5 more qualities are also wonderfully present in them. So the two Vibhin Amshas which are mentioned. So one is we individual souls, and second one, here they're talking about Lord Shiva. So when it comes to Lord Shiva, he has got 55 qualities. So we have got 50 qualities, drop of a drop, and Lord Shiva has got 55 qualities. And here it is said, these 50 or 55 qualities are fully present in Lord Vishnu. This all the scriptures say. Now here, the supremacy of the Lord is established through the qualities that he possesses. He is supreme when it comes to possessing all these qualities. We are very, very chutku when it comes to quantity. The qualities that we acquire is very, very less. And when it comes to the Lord, he is having or possessing these qualities to the full. Very ignorant people who think the demigods are equal to Lord Vishnu do not understand the truth about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Some people say, so this is for common public. Very ignorant people who think the demigods are equal to Lord Vishnu do not understand the truth about Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if we see properly, the common public who have not read Shastra, for them everything is equal. And don't feel anything about it. It's okay. All the photos they keep on the same altar, they dump it in fact. Stick wherever possible in the altar. Be it a sticker or be it some photo, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So when it comes to common public, since they're ignorant, this word is very, very aptly used. Very ignorant people. They don't have any knowledge from scriptures. What they hear from there, that Devta is powerful, this Devta is powerful. Okay, all of them are equal. So they'll behave, like they're very, very elevated souls with high consciousness. They don't differentiate between the Devi Devtas. And we are narrow-minded people. We just Krishna is supreme. So this is about common public or ignorant. What about Mayavadis? Some people say that when it comes into contact, so we're talking about Brahman, when it comes into contact with Maya's 3 material modes, the impersonal Brahman becomes the demigods. So this is what is the Mayavadis, who are saying this. To elaborate, this is a Mayavad idea. They say when it comes into contact with 3 modes of material nature, the qualityless impersonal Brahman becomes the demigods. So basically, again, equating the Lord not to the demigods. This is what is happening here as well. So in the entire text, what I could understand is 3 parts are there. One is the demigods part, where the Lord is equated to demigods. Second is the Mayavadi's philosophy, where they're talking about Brahman becoming the demigods. And the third part is the person might be following Varnashrama very nicely, but then if he's not worshipping the Lord, the Supreme Lord, then he's useless. Now let's see the different thoughts which are there. People who neglect Lord Narayan and worship the demigods instead remain plunged in the world of birth and death. Now this is the idea of some people. Some people may say, I know very well that Lord Vishnu is the Supreme Lord. I know that the Vedas say that Lord Vishnu is present everywhere in the material world. Therefore, Lord Vishnu resides in all the demigods. Therefore, when one worships the demigods, one worships Lord Vishnu also. To speak these words is forbidden. They are not the teaching of the scriptures. To worship the demigods in this way is forbidden. Now there's extra intelligence. After hearing a Gita class, the Lord is there in everyone's heart. Oh, this I heard also from few. In fact, my relatives also I heard. See, Lord is there as Paramatma. In Karnataka we call as Sri Krishna Paramatma. The Lord is there as Paramatma in everyone's heart. So He's there in the hearts of all the Devi Devtas also. So what is the problem? When we worship the Devi Devtas, so the Lord is getting worshipped. So this idea, our Acharya somehow they know everything. What people are going to speak in future, that also they know, and they have documented everything already. So that is forbidden. This idea is forbidden. Because here, see, when someone worships the Devi Devta, they are not going to worship with a selfless mood and this and that. And they have no clue of unmotivated, uninterrupted devotional service. They are least bothered to know about all that. And sometimes people say, I'm pure devotee of Ganpati. Now, what do you mean by pure devotee? I'm pure devotee of Lord Shiva. Pure, though, sometimes pure is a word which we hear sometimes. But I'm a very big devotee. I'm a very big devotee of Ganpati. I'm a very big devotee of Lord Shiva. My mother is a big devotee of Lord Krishna. So here we have to understand that when it comes to these people, what do you mean by big devotee, small devotee, or whatever, according to them? I every day, I worship for what? Something I want, so I'm worshipping. Or something I already got, so I'm worshipping. So in the Gita course, that session, who is the real boss in that, and I make a lot of fun of people, what they do. The business that people do with demigods is very nice. Even with the Lord also for that matter. You give me this, I'll give you this. You give me so-and-so promotion, I'll give you 3 incense, 2 coconut. And then at times, I'll give hair also, hair. And it's very nice, People go to some temple and they say, if you fulfill my desire, I'll come back. I'll come back. Matlab, are we interested to take darshan or give darshan? I don't know. I'll come back. And then when I ask, how many of you have done this? Almost the entire crowd will raise the hand. Yes, we did that. So anyways, this concept that Lord is there in each and everyone's heart. So when I worship these entities, Lord is worshipped, is not a proper idea. Here Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Haridas Thakur, they're saying this. But what is the correct idea? The Lord Vishnu is present everywhere in the material world, that you certainly may say. The truth is that by worshipping Lord Vishnu, one also worships all demigods. So when you worship Lord Vishnu, all demigods are worshipped. We have the famous shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam. Taror eva mula nisechanena tripyanti tat skanda bhujopashakaha. When you water the root, automatically the entire tree will get nourished. A similar shloka is there here. Taro mole jala dilesh akhara ullasa pallave dhalile jala vrikshera vinasha. If one waters a tree's roots, the whole tree will flourish. However, if one waters only the leaves and not the roots, the tree will die. So very nicely it's described that if we worship Lord Vishnu, automatically all the Devi Devtas are satisfied. But if we worship the Devi Devtas, we cannot assume that Lord is satisfied. And this particular shloka says that the person will not be nourished for sure. Therefore, if I neglect the demigods and worship only Lord Vishnu, by that action I attain the result of worshipping all the demigods. So here there is a stamp. You can neglect the worship of the different Devi Devtas. With the arrival of Kali, now Mayavad philosophy, with the arrival of Kali Yuga and with the entrance of the misleading Mayavad theory, the people thinking them equal to Lord Vishnu now worship many demigods. Each demigod grants a specific boon, but Lord Vishnu grants all boons. He is the protector and maintainer of all. Now this is a truth that Lord can bestow all the benedictions, whatever we want. But then Lord has his own way of giving the benediction, if he wish. If his sweet will allows. So people are scared to approach Lord Krishna. Because this truth somehow in India everyone knows about the Lord, somehow. And the various pastimes that Lord has enacted. So only when he is called, he'll come. Like in Draupadi's case. So nice. Dushasan is pulling the sari, she's holding the sari. At that time, Lord is not coming. Only when she leaves the sari and completely surrenders and calls out loudly, at that time, Lord comes, in his the sari form to cover her. Now here we understand that when it comes to different Devi Devatas, people feel it's very easy. You just go do business and finish it off. But then when it comes to the Lord, obviously He can give all benedictions to all of us. But then the important thing is that Lord will give those benedictions or those things which will help us to progress on this wonderful path of Krishna consciousness. Analogy that is given for this particular concept is parents and the shopkeeper. So when it comes to a child, say a child has fever and he wants to eat ice cream. He has got some money. He goes to the shopkeeper and then he gives the money and get the ice cream. Now the shopkeeper will not say, come here, touch his forehead and check if he has fever or not. He has got money, he gives him ice cream. Now shopkeeper is not thinking, will this ice cream be harmful? Or will this ice cream be good? Etc. etc. And when it comes to parents, now the child goes and asks the parents that give me ice cream. And the parents are like, no, you have fever. Okay, take money, give me ice cream. Just imagine what will happen to that child. So here we understand that when it comes to parents, they are making sure that whatever they are giving is for the well-being of the child. And when it comes to the shopkeeper, I got money, I'm giving you. That's the business. Same thing happens when it comes to worship of Devi Devatas. When some ritual is done, the Devi Devatas are obliged to give a benediction to the worshipper. And when it comes to the Lord is not obliged to anyone. Any worship that is offered, that's okay. It doesn't matter. So Lord will give only when it is beneficial, for the worshipper. The next section, it talks about the Grihastha devotees. A Grihastha who is a devotee of Lord Vishnu should unhesitatingly worship Lord Vishnu with his every deed. Chanting Vedic mantras and various rituals, beginning with Garbhadhan Samskar and ending at the cremation ground, he should worship Lord Vishnu. Many of the times when it comes to Grihastha devotees, I've heard that, we have our Kul Devta. If we don't worship, what will happen? These Devi Devatas we have been worshipping in our place from a long time. What will happen if we remove these photos? And somehow coincidentally things also happen like that. Once what happened is one of the devotee family, they removed all the photos of Devi Devatas. They put the Gandhavika Giridhari, those photos. And then I think the next day or next day, the kid got fracture in the leg. And there's a big chaos at home. And the parents of these devotees, they were saying, see, I told you, don't do this. This is what happens. Now they're all angry on you. What all things will happen? So it happened with 2-3 devotees. They coincidentally, obviously, it's when it happens. So people connect all this. See, because of this only it is happening. So this particular thing should be removed from the mind that these Devi Devatas are there to punish everyone. Firstly, they'll punish if they're actually residing, in your place, receiving your worship or whatever. Where are demigods residing in someone's place? And what worship are we offering? Just dump everyone in the altar and once in a while open and lit the lamp. And people say, diya lagaya aaj maine. I worshipped. So that's not worship. There are different agamas, there are procedures to be followed, to worship these Devi Devatas, to invoke their presence. So actually speaking, nowadays, no one does demigod worship also. Because who has time for following the procedures of worship of different Devi Devatas? So just diya lagaya, some flowers offered, some incense, that too once in a while, that's not demigod worship. So unnecessarily we should make our life complicated thinking, this Devta will feel bad, that Devta will feel bad, as if they are in love with you. Yes, you reject them and they'll feel bad. So this thing that they will feel bad and they will do something to me should be removed from the mind. And with full focus, one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes it is very astonishing to see even the initiated devotees in ISKCON keeping Ganpati, having some Durga idol, some deity here and there in the altar. That's not proper. That's not proper. We as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Raghunath Das Goswami writes in Manushiksha, one shouldn't be attached to the four-handed form of the Lord. So if we are talking about not getting attached to other forms of Lord Krishna, then where is the question of getting attached to demigods? Where is the question of worshipping demigods? Our entire parampara is very clear. One pointed worship of two-handed form, that is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. There's no question apart from this. We have to worship the Lord with one pointed focus. Okay. Thinking that demigods are independent of Lord Vishnu, they commit an offense to the holy name. By that offense, their progress in devotional service is blocked. Persons who think that demigods headed by Shiva are controllers independent of Lord Vishnu commit a fearful offense. It is because Lord Krishna has given them the power that Shiva, Brahma, Ganesha, Surya, and the Dikpals have been controllers from ancient times. Therefore, I know that Lord Krishna is the only supreme controller. I count the demigods among Lord Krishna's potency. So, this is the right understanding. So, who are these different demigods, the Devi Devtas? They are different potencies of the Lord. They come under the different potencies of the Lord and assisting the Lord to maintain this entire universal administration. And here it is said, thinking them as devotional service, the various rituals that the grihasthas do, the samskaras, thinking them as devotional service, he performs the various rituals and samskaras. By offering them the remnants of what was offered to Lord Krishna, he pleases the demigods and pitas. He avoids worshipping the many demigods and goddesses because they are all devotees of Lord Krishna. They are satisfied with his actions. By worshipping Lord Krishna and the Vaishnavas, he attains all benefits. He does not commit offenses to the holy name and he always chants the holy name. So here is described how actually the demigod worship should be done. So we should offer bhoga to the Lord and the prasad should be offered to these different Devi Devtas. And this will be proper and offenseless. Few more verses. If one does not understand that Lord Vishnu is not different from his name in form and qualities, then one's chanting will be namabhas. It is not possible to attain pure love for Lord Krishna in this way. Now it is said that if we don't understand that Lord and his different aspects, that is name, form, qualities and pastimes, are same, are identical, then we cannot progress in the path of devotional service. So Lord and name, form, quality and pastimes of the Lord are same, they are identical. But when we don't understand this, it is said that it is not possible to attain pure love for Lord Krishna in this way. Now the question is, फिर कहाँ से लाए इसको? Where should we get this realization from? And here it is said, by the mercy of a bona fide spiritual master, this anartha, which results in this misunderstanding, is destroyed. Worshipping the holy name, that person eventually attains the stage of pure chanting. So by the mercy of spiritual master, one can get this realization. It is not something which I can sit and then contemplate. Maybe it is same because it doesn't work. It is Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashit. It's a Divya Gyan. It's a transcendental knowledge which has to be given to all of us, by our spiritual master. The individual souls, however, have very small intelligence. They do not have inconceivable potencies. If they try with their limited intelligence to understand the Supreme Controller, they will attain only a very limited understanding of him. They do not have much power to understand him. So this is something which we have been discussing from quite some time. We are limited, and how can with this limited intelligence we'll be able to understand the unlimited? Not possible. Only if the Lord reveals himself to us, then we'll be able to understand the Lord. If they turn away from Lord Vishnu and worship the demigods or the impersonal Brahman, they will be in a position where they do not know what is good for them and what is not. To think Lord Vishnu is different from his names and forms is a great mistake and anartha. To think that Lord Shiva is independent of Lord Vishnu is also a great mistake. The devotee who has taken, now this is a very nice point, the devotee who has taken single-minded shelter in the holy name is a truly elevated soul. He worships Lord Krishna and no one else as a Supreme Lord. To come to this stage is a very, very big thing. A very, very big thing. Firstly, to accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead is a very, very big thing. Before and all, we used to debate so much, with people. Quote shlokas from here and there and then prove Krishna is supreme. And the other person will also prove he is not. Now it needs Sukruti. It needs good amount of Sukruti to accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when we are there amongst those devotees who have accepted Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead, we have to understand it's a rare association. Really rare association. So sometimes, when we have some misunderstanding, some bitter feelings towards other devotees. So this meditation helps me a lot. That how great, the people are whom I'm staying with. They all are seeing, they have all taken shelter of the Lord, single-minded, one-pointed, focused shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he is worshipping only Lord Krishna, no one else. He is not considering anyone else as supreme. So this is such a big thing, in this material world in the age of Kali. Now here comes some of the aspects Prabhupada has also mentioned in the purport. However, he does not blaspheme the demigods or other scriptures, saying they're servants of Lord Krishna, he worships and honors the demigods. So here we have to understand that we don't have any right to blaspheme the demigods. When it comes to us, we are very, very small, even in front of various Devi Devtas. Just imagine, they're so close to the Lord that Lord has entrusted them, different departments in this universal administration. So what right we have to blaspheme the demigods? So we as preachers, we should be very careful when we're speaking about the Devi Devtas. We're setting Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's not that we'll blaspheme the demigods and set Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's an offense. We will not be able to progress on the path of bhakti if we do that. Because all these demigods are serving the Lord. Yes. It's a problem in this world. They are all clear who is supreme. The problem is in this world. The egos of different people don't allow people to accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we as preachers, when we are speaking, when we are establishing Krishna as Supreme, we have to make sure that we don't blaspheme the demigods because they are much, much superior to us. In fact, every Devi Devta is worshipable to all of us. But when it comes to there is a comparison, or when it comes to the Supreme Being in the entire creation, then there is a question of who is supreme, and all the Devi Devtas accept Krishna is supreme. Last few. Yeah. Every day a Grahastha devotee places offerings before Lord Krishna. With these offerings he pleases the demigods, pitas and people in general. Whenever he sees the deities of the demigods, he says, he is a servant of Lord Krishna, and then he bows down to offer respect. So this is the mood. When we happen to go to some demigod temple, so this is the mood that he is servant of Lord Krishna. With that mood we bow down to that deity. If the Mayavadis worship Lord Vishnu and offer things to him out of fear, the devotees will not accept the remnants of those offerings. Why? The Mayavadis are offenders to Lord Krishna's holy name. Whatever of worship they offer, Lord Krishna does not accept. So it's not prasad. So there's no question of accepting it. There's another few more important points for us as sadhakas. To accept the remnants of offerings to demigod is an offense. Pure devotees never accept such offerings. So when it comes to accepting the prasad of demigods, that's an offense. That's what is told here. Because the Devi Devtas will never accept the bhoga. They will always accept prasad. So to say that this is prasad of so-and-so Devi Devta, that itself is foolishness. Whenever any yajna is done, first the Lord is invoked. The ahuti is offered for the Lord. And then the remnants which are there, that is passed on to different Devi Devtas. However, when he worships Lord Vishnu, a pure devotee may also worship the demigods and then offer to them the remnants of what he had first offered to Lord Vishnu. To accept these remnants is not an offense. Worship of the demigods done in this way does not block advancement in devotional service. So understanding that they are part and parcel of the Lord and they accept the remnants of the Lord and worshipping them in the mood that they are servants of the Lord is the correct way of worship. And finally, suppose if you have committed an offense, this particular offense it is said, although one may have foolishly thought Lord Vishnu on the same level as the demigods, if one understands the truth of Lord Vishnu and also repents his previous misunderstanding, then Lord Vishnu will forgive his offense. The offender should then be careful not to commit that offense again. So here, the points which I mentioned is there is no question of equating any personality to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. In fact, different incarnations are also servants of Lord Krishna. Different incarnations of Krishna are servants of Krishna. Ekala Ishvara Krishna, Ara Sabha Bhritya. They are all servants of Krishna. So when it comes to us as devotees, every single day, we have to analyze and meditate if we have become one-pointed devotee of Lord Krishna or at least trying to become one-pointed devotee of Krishna. Devi Devtas are there. Along with that, the different personalities who help us in various ways. We cannot worship them and equate them to the Lord. No, that is also a very, very important thing. So only Krishna is the one who is actually helping us, through different personalities. So he is supposed to be worshipped, and we have to build this mood of one-pointed devotees of Krishna. Then there is hope of going back home, back to Godhead, or there is no hope, because only devotees of the Lord who are selflessly serving Him with unmotivated, uninterrupted mood, they are the ones who are qualified to go back home, back to Godhead, and assist the Lord in His pastimes. Otherwise, it's not possible. This I would like to pause here. Any questions? Oh.
So the demigod worship which is happening outside and the Vishnu worship also. So are they not authorized?
When it comes to people worshiping at home, surely it will not be authorized, because you cannot put all the photos in one place, and because every Devi Devta have got different procedures in which they have to be worshipped. Yes. In the temples, not sure if they're following the agamas properly, then yes, it's authentic. If not, then not authentic.
And then in Kali Yuga, like for going to heaven also there should be some proper pious tradition.
Yeah.
So in Kali Yuga, only devotees go to heaven. Is it like that? Because no one are following any. What is it?
Yeah. If we are not one-pointed devotees, we'll land up in heaven. Yeah, because devotees are following various rules and regulations, and they do pious activities and things like that. Yes, true. Prabhupada would say, everyone is paving their path to hell. One reporter asked, why are you traveling in jet plane? So he said that everyone is going in jet speed to hell, so I'm going to save them to different places. Yeah, yes, bro.
You were mentioning how your Atmas have 50 qualities, drop of a rock. Lord Shiva has 55. So does Lord Shiva have all these qualities in fullness, or it is also drop?
So here it is said that he possesses greater than the jivas, but full nibula, I think. Full nibula. Because the next shloka after that which I read, so in that it was said that only Vishnu has got these qualities. Vishnu has got these 55 qualities in full. In addition, 5 more, the demigods headed by Lord Shiva always possess these 50 qualities in greater quantity. There is a comparison with Jiva and with the ordinary Jivas. And then the next shloka says, these 50 or 55 qualities are fully present in Lord Vishnu. So Lord Shiva doesn't have. That's what it says.
This point of worshipping demigods, devotees don't do, but still it is mentioned pure devotees, they may offer Vishnu Prasad to demigods, and in that way they may worship. And in the 5th canto also, when there is different divisions are mentioned in Jamudvi, so some of them they worship demigods, but not in an inappropriate way, like worshipping Vishnu and then offering prasad. Also in Jagannath temple also we see that Vimala Devi and Vimal Prasad. So that is also there. So how to understand that devotees, they don't want to worship anybody else apart from Vishnu, or specifically Krishna, but still like sometimes this demigod worship is there. Authorized form of or pure form of demigod worship is there. So why do they do that?
So if they have been instructed in some case by the spiritual master or in the parampara, so maybe
Mother Sampradaya also they do that.
they worship.
They worship demigods in some places, but no, Vishnu Prasad is offered.
So because when it comes to worship, that has to come from the authorities, as we have all been saying. So if they're doing some worship of Devi Devtas, then their authority should have instructed them. or else there's no there's no other answer for this as such for me, as such, according to my understanding. So if they've established, then there'll be some reason maybe, so some pastime or something like that. Because in general, if we see, it's not recommended in general that everyone should do it. If only certain specific cases. So if some pastime has happened or they've been instructed due to some reason, then maybe they might be doing it. Like Prabhupada was very clear. So some devotee asked about Ganpati worship. So he said, "You give me $10 million and then you can do it." Like Lord devotion class, yes. So Prabhupada was very clear like that. So.
Shivaratri is there, they are worshipping the lingam, Shiva lingam.
In ISKCON, though, we don't do.
Shiva lingam, Mahasivaratri is there.
When
Mahasivaratri, in my life, they worship the Shiva lingam, not worship Shivaratri. Yeah.
to this one, no, that Harihar Kshetra. That is Vaishnava technique.
In Vrindavan, they worship Gopeshwar Mahadev. The mood is different, of worship there. They worship the Lord Shiva as the great devotee of Lord Krishna. Yeah, Vaishnavana Mithasham.
These, when like materialistic normal people worship the demigods without proper understanding, but then their demands are also sometimes fulfilled, and also if they're committing offense, you have to understand this, that whatever sometimes they're willing and that gets fulfilled. It's just a coincidence, or
See, when it comes to the materialists who are fully into materialism and not doing any proper worship and things like that, we have to understand, the karma is manifesting, the papa and punya that is there. And when it comes to offense, so offense will work for those, who are doing some devotional service. They can understand, I've committed some offense, I'm not able to progress and things like that. उनका तो कुछ है ही नहीं. There's no start only for them, so there's no.
like we say, Lord Shiva is Ashutosh, he grants benediction to people very easily. So even people who don't have a proper understanding, they may worship him, get some boon or something. So why does that happen? Because it is an offense if he doesn't have a proper understanding.
No, here he is worshipping the demigod with a mood to get something. Yes. And if it is Shastrik, like, for example, offering milk to the Shivalinga, that is Shastrik. So maybe if Lord Shiva is pleased with the Bilpatra and this all that. If someone is taking ganja and all that and he's worshipping Lord Shiva, that's not proper. Yes. So some procedure if they're following and then they're worshipping, they might get.
But we see demons also, they worship. Because no procedure.
No procedure.
But he was
They had the power to force the demigods to come down. They had the power to force to demigods like Brahma and Shiva also to come down on this planet by doing whatever nonsense activities, putting flesh in the yajna and things like that. Yes. The Prabhu's question is, if they are committing offense, then how is the thing getting fulfilled? So what little bit understanding I have is, when it comes to offense, it works, that's a block on the spiritual progress. Right. So when it comes to these people, where are they hankering for spiritual progress?
But there also procedural offenses will be there.
Now, this offense, right? We're talking about, yeah.
This offense.
Yeah.
This offense is for bhakti.
Yeah, only for devotees, for the ones who want to advance.
They will have their own offenses in the path.
In the procedure, yeah. So since they are not anyways practicing bhakti anywhere, so there's no question of the offense coming into picture, and also they might not have the knowledge, so that is also there. That is also there.
And this one more thing regarding the two-handed form. So like Gurujan Prabhu was mentioning something like we should first meditate on Ishtadev, then some pray to Ishtadev, and then we should start.
Ishtadev in ISKCON is only Krishna. Or Gaur Nitai, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra.
Specifically some deities like Gandharva,
Radha Raman. हाँ तो मतलब हमें अच्छा लगना चाहिए यही फॉर्म्स. If we are part of ISKCON, we are part of the संप्रदाय, यही अच्छा लगना चाहिए, इसके अलावा और कोई अच्छा नहीं लगना चाहिए.
So this concept of Ishtadev, like where it has come from? If you understand only Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality, so for everyone he should.
See, when Burijan Pro is telling, he's talking about some deity or some temple, which you you like, you're attracted to. He's talking about that. Our Ishtadev is Krishna. Gaurnitaya Jagannath Bala Subhadra.
In general, outside people like this school devta or Ishtadev, they say many people in North they say that we have this Ishtadev or we have this. So where does this come from? Like this concept of Ishtadev, having a Ishtadev or Kuldevta?
I'm not sure where does it come from. They have been worshipping and that becomes the Ishtadev. If they don't, then it will be a problem. So they have to. Yeah.
So to whomever one is attracted naturally, like Karna was attracted to sun naturally. So the Ishtadev of Karna is sun. So he wants to worship. That is the concept. Kula Devta is whether you are attracted or not attracted. It has been given to you in family heritage.
You have to worship. Yeah.
Whether you understand and luckily some people have Ishtadevta, Kuldevta is the same, like people in Andhra. They make Balaji. Their Ishtadev is Balaji, their Kuldevta is Balaji, and everything else is also okay.
And nowadays, if they actually understand what is Ishtadev, that's also a question mark. Yes. Because that will be used as a synonym to many other words also, Ishtadev. But as Prabhu rightly said, Ishtadev is like whom we are attracted to, whom we want to worship. Like that.
One more this one, like little bit of vocabulary. So we can tell ordinary people and devotees. We cannot tell like materialistic people as normal people. Prabhuji, your question is that normal materialistic ordinary people okay. Normal people never nothing.
उनका ऐसा था शायद नॉर्मल एंड एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी
नहीं वो नॉर्मल नहीं है
एबनॉर्मल
अब नॉर्मल
आपको कुछ बोलना
So we get the example of like child has fever approaching a shopkeeper price approaching parents. So their shopkeeper only sees the business and we don't see the what is the ultimate benefit the parent sees. But I see like in Bhagavad Gita Krishna says like the one who has a faith in demigods, I provide that faith.
Correct.
So then how to understand like here as a Krishna as a parent and he's seeing the ultimate.
This is this is a concept to understand that someone basically why demigod worship is needed. Everyone has to surrender to some personality, some greater personality in this world. So now when someone is not qualified, or not interested or not desiring to surrender to Krishna, so they will surrender to some powerful personality of this world. So now if they have to surrender, then they have to have that faith. So Krishna is giving that faith. Okay, you can surrender. But when someone goes to Krishna and when they're asking something, then he takes the charge.
The people they don't think that Krishna is giving faith, they think that demigod has given.
Correct. That is there. And the benediction also, they feel it's demigod who is giving, but it's Krishna who is giving that benediction also. Yeah.
If they know that Krishna is giving, they will not like it.
Yeah.
Because they don't want Krishna. That's it.
Yeah. Because of enviousness, yes.
Sometimes in Bhagavatam classes and in general devotee conversations, they make fun of Indra. Is that a blasphemy?
Actually, it is not proper, to make if we have fun of Indra, or fun of any Dev Devata for that matter. They are very, very great. But in what mood that is, little bit. See, one is like corner karke, to blaspheme that person, and one is in light mode where the person does not have any intention to blaspheme, but just to set the context, of the devotee speaking. That's still okay. But if the intention is not proper and he is literally in the mood of blasphemy, so that's the problem. Then it will be very difficult to progress on the path of bhakti. Because in fact, the pure devotees, they don't want to hurt even an ant. So there is a question of Devi Devtas getting.
But in terms of Indra, I think even some bhajans also have some. That's why I asked.
नहीं जैसे उसमें है ना
Bahirmukha.
Bahirmukha Brahma, yeah.
That is there and.
So he's just choosing, right, the two options.
in some places, even it is mentioned about the lusty aspect or some aspects like that. Also is mentioned. Indra is the lust incarnation. So, like when pure devotees talk about that, that is the right attitude that they are talking about. But when we are also having lust and then ego coming, it is not good. So, like, what is that we are derogating? Like in relationship to Krishna and the position, power and position that is intoxicating the person. So that is something like can be done. And really, this is a very tricky question. Like I also don't have a solid answer because in scriptures consistently, especially in Bhagavatam itself, is consistently like it is mentioned, and sometimes Acharya is also mentioned.
Yeah.
So
That's what. So when little bit, whatever little bit I understand. So when it comes to Bhagavatam personalities and acharyas commenting on them, so they can do at their level, they're there. But we as when I read Bhagavatam and things like that, so firstly that person is there in Bhagavatam. That's a big thing. So he's a great personality. So as an individual, as a person, if we are trying to pull that image of the person down, in our classes or whatever, so I feel that's improper. But if you're setting a principle, then shayad, that's proper. जैसा आपने अभी कहा, attachment to name, fame, position and all that. So from that we're deriving, then it's okay. But as a person, if you are targeting someone and trying to speak ill or negative points, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.